Well, there's a place I've come to know well, led by a man named Sty. He's full of stories, he is quite a guy. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty, he's quite the guy. If you're feeling lonely, come and make a friend. If you need a story, on Sty you can depend. His voice is soothing like a lullaby. Sometimes he brings a tear to my eye. Sit around the campfire and hear him tell his tale. Some may be able to relate to him quite well. We're all just people looking for a place to go. Well, Sty has made one, and it is quite a show. Come meet Sty, he's quite the guy.
Well, good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to the Sty Shack for another Sty Story Sunday. Love my Sty Story Sundays. We're going to take a look at who's out in the chat tonight. First person that popped in was Roger Rabbit Valley Transparency. Jumped in real early this afternoon when I first posted it. That was cool. And then Me Dibble. Me Dibble won't be able to be with us tonight. Needs sleep. I understand. And there's Shiva B. There's Lori. Hello, girl. And Justin Anderson. Awesome. Love it. Love it. My regulars, you know. And J-Ron. Great to see you. Awesome. There's Robert Rockwell. Hello, everyone. Love it. Love it. Then we got Anthony Bressler. Good evening to you, too. And there's Kimberly Ferris. Oh, hi, Kimberly. Hey, Harry. There's Metal Music Maniac. Evil, you say. Well, sometimes the evil are crazy. Oh yeah, this woman was a bit. You'll see. There is Eric Pollock. Awesome, great to see you, Eric. And there's my brother, Freeman James. Good to see you. Trey Tizzy. Hey, it's Killa Creations. Check it out. Check it out. There's Rain Dancer. Hey, Rain Dancer. Great to see you, sweetie. Oh, yeah. Hey, Mr. Great Shot. Good evening. It's good to see you. Welcome to the Sty Shack. Oh, who else we got in here? Anybody? Me Devil. Me Devil says, I'm still awake, but not for long, I think. Don't hurt yourself, man. If you need to sleep, get it. Get it. Take the sleep. Yeah. Love you having you here, but I don't want you to suffer either, my friend. Yeah. Well, that's all the folks out there in chat, and they're all saying hi to each other and the like. And yeah, like I said, it's another Sty Story Sunday. And I've got a very quick health announcement. And other than that, it's nothing much. The health announcement is very short and sweet. Nothing new since Thursday. Um, I didn't have anything going on Friday, so all is good. Tomorrow's the worst part. That's when trips, Sty's trip down Hell Lane starts. Um, I start my full chemo and radiation tomorrow. I have to be there at the clinic no later than 7:15 tomorrow morning. And they anticipate I won't get out of there until 3:30 in the afternoon. So it's going to be a very, very long day. I've got a bunch of lab work they got to do first thing in the morning. Then I have to go through a 2.5 hour infusion of chemotherapy. Then I go through a half-hour radiation therapy. Then I got to go through an hour and a half iron infusion. Then I have a 1 hour appointment with two of my doctors. So it's going to be a very long, long day. And I'm feeling it, I'm feeling the anxiety over it. But that's the only update I got, man. I'll be able to update you much better on Thursday to let you know how am I handling the therapy. Because chemo tomorrow and radiation, then it's radiation every day throughout the rest of the week. So, and that goes on for the next almost a month and a half. So tomorrow's the big day. That's where it all starts. So there we are. Now I do have somebody in the basement. I got one person in the basement. There's an old dependable. You all know. If you don't know him, you're going to get to know him this evening. Here he is. There's my boy. Running Water. Hey.
Evening, y'all.
Evening, you all. His signature coming in the door. So where are you at?
Good question.
Good question. Don't even know where you're at.
Oh, I'm like right up on it's an Ohio Pennsylvania state line up by Erie, Pennsylvania region. I'm heading towards Rochester, New York for tomorrow morning. So, but I'm parked for the night, and then I'll run the last bit up there, and then
sure
come back to Buffalo, pick up, load, going back to Ohio, and just going back and forth.
Yeah. Me devil. He says, Sty, be careful with the iron. Remember, you have a magnetic personality. Actually, if I can hang on to some of that iron, that's going to be good, because my treatments tend to draw down your iron. And what they're trying to do is, in the most part, overload me a bit with iron, because they know it's going to drop with the treatments. So if I can, because of my magnetic personality, hold on to some of it, that might help a bit, That might help a bit. I was telling Running Water earlier, today I had something happen that rarely ever happens to me. My damn ankles swelled up like that, man. I mean, my ankles are almost as big around as my calves. But then I've been sitting in this studio since 8:00 this morning. So think about it. It's 7:00 here now. That's 11 hours I've been at this studio. The only time I got away from the studio, I ran upstairs, took a shower, got all going at 10:00 this morning. I spent 2 hours on here, and then I gotta go shower, man. I went and got my shower out of the way. Then I come downstairs, and I sat here for a couple more hours, and I said, I gotta move. And I'm looking at a bunch of empty boxes I had stacked over here. I got up, grabbed the case cutter, and broke down a bunch of boxes. Then I sat my butt down for about another 3-4 hours, and the only time I got up was to walk back and forth to the kitchen to get a fresh cup of coffee or something to eat, And so I haven't been moving enough. It's my feet vertical like that all damn day. And so I think that's what's causing it. I get done tonight, I'll get my feet put up. By morning, I should be good again. But the Me Devil says, I'm guessing they are putting you on an iron supplement. Well, I start taking an iron supplement towards the end of next week. They don't want me taking an iron supplement on top of, I go in there and they give me an IV bag full of, it looks like blood. It's iron red. And I got to sit there for an hour and a half while they infuse me with it. They don't want me adding iron to what they're giving me in that IV. And that's 5 infusions. I believe tomorrow is my last one, actually. And then my iron levels should be capped right out. And then they said by the end of this week, they'll have me taking an iron supplement to maintain it, just to maintain it. In fact, I got to take a look. This vitamin they got me on, it's supposed to be kind of high on iron too. See, they may not even put me on the supplement. It might already be in that. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, Me Devil, moving around. That's the thing is a person has to try to move, even if it's small amounts, just occasionally, but just to keep things moving, keep yourself moving. It helps things move in your system and stuff. So, yeah. But I'm eating, guys, man. I had spaghetti and meatballs last night, and I'm telling you, a big pile of spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah, I figured out the calories that I had with the spaghetti and meatballs, and it was over 600 calories just in what I had on my plate. So that's pretty good. The stay clear of strong magnets. Yeah, go to the junkyard where they got that big electromagnet, and they're going to lift a car up or engine that's laying on the ground. They'll turn that sucker on, and I'll go flying across the yard and get stuck to their machine. Whoa, don't turn that on while I'm here.
Yeah, what movie was that? Terminator. When they're in the big particle accelerator tunnel. And
yeah. That chick got stuck on that thing.
Yeah, the hybrid. Yeah, peeling the metals.
She's the liquid metal, and she's all melting up against that thing. Yeah. I don't want to do that. It's been an interesting day. I got a little project going on. For what I'm doing is there's over 200 Sty stories I've done already, and now I'm doing another one tonight. I'm going back, and some of those that people have said, oh, that was my favorite. I'm taking those, editing them down to just the Sty story, and they're running between 8 and 15 minutes long. That's all the longer they are, once they're whittled down to just the Sty story. I'm putting a large group of those together. And what I'll do is, when I get to the stage where I can't even do live streams, especially during that period, I'll pre-schedule those. I can pre-schedule out quite a long ways through YouTube and StreamYard. So I'll have a bunch of them scheduled for when I'm my sickest, When I get to the point where I'm having my surgery, there'll literally be a month in there that I can't stream. I won't be able to stream at all. I won't be able to stand even sitting in this chair. So during that period, I'll have content going up, and what it is it's revisiting old Sty stories, and they're going to be called the best of Sty stories. So it'll be particular stories that had the highest viewership and blah blah blah. And for some folks, they'd be revisiting them, and for some folks, they never did see them. So that's the way we're gonna do it. There's Dustin Dyson. Great to see you, Dustin. Another spring. Yeah, spring is coming. Well, it's upon us here. It's been raining for 2 days. Constantly. Just constant rain last 2 days. Oh, running water, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel terrible, man. I went out on the porch 3 days ago. And there's this huge, that thing was that big around, huge robin's nest on the windowsill where we put the air conditioner.
Oh.
And it's 90% mud, that damn nest. Well, that's going to rot that windowsill right out,
Right.
So I broke that off of there and threw it, I looked out there this morning. This is like 7:45 this morning. I looked out there because I could hear this sound like a flapping sound. So I opened the curtain. I looked out. Son of a bitch, it's back. That bird totally rebuilt that nest in 2 days. It's back on that windowsill. So I went out there and looked. Nope, there's the one that they made the first time still laying out there. They had built a whole brand new one. So I busted that off and pitched that. So I'm trying to keep getting rid of their nests to discourage them. And it's the dumbest place in the world to put their nest. The neighborhood cats that roam around, they'll be eating their chicks for sure, because that windowsill's only 2 feet off of the porch.
Right.
And it's really odd that they went right back there, even though I tore that nest through, pitched it.
Well, I've noticed, on our trailers, because usually our trailers get loaded and they sit out there for about a week before you schedule delivery, and there's all these robin's nests and dove's nests and stuff tucked up underneath the trailers and on the landing gear and stuff. It's like, sorry, but you're going cross country.
Yeah, you're taking a trip, man. And you might not like where we end up. You could be somebody's dinner where I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's just the nests and the eggs that are going with me. The parents aren't keeping up.
Yeah. They're going to have to get into their nest and hang on tight for many, many miles. They'll be wondering, when's this guy ever going to stop? I'm getting hungry. Yeah. Oh, and I want to let everybody know tonight, literally, at 9:00 sharp my time, that's 2 hours into the stream, I have to cut it off. I have to. I cannot consume anything except clear water after 10:00 tonight. I have not eaten even half of what I typically eat in a day. So I got to make up for it. I'll have 1 hour to do that. And I got a couple other things I got to get squared away before tomorrow's nightmare. So, literally 9:00, I'm cutting it off, and no chatting away after the stream tonight either. Running Water and I'll have a bad habit of, the stream will end at 9 and we're talking at 11. yeah, I can't be doing that tonight because I just don't have the time. I gotta eat and sleep. I gotta get some sleep, man. I gotta be up at 5 o'clock, be ready to get ready and out the door and over there by 7:15. So, so yeah, it's just one of those nights. One of those nights. That will improve as I progress because my chemo is supposed to be later in the mornings on Mondays. So I won't have to be getting up so damn early. Hey, Phil's in the house, and right behind him, Samantha Lee. Oh, it's good to see you guys. It's so good to see you. That's a great pair there. Yeah. Oh, there's plain old Chuck. I'm going to nest up on the Running Waters trailer. I could use some new scenery. Yeah. Man, I've been topping my truck off. I get down to close a quarter of a tank, top it off. That's the way I typically run it. Never let it drop below 3/4 of a tank. Well, I've had all these long distance trips this last month and wasn't really paying much attention and realized, holy smokes, I'm down to 1/8 of a tank. I forgot how big the tank was on my truck. Pulled in the gas station yesterday, filled her up $96. I just, what the hell? $96 for a tank of gas. Holy Lord. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's that every time I fuel up, I just sit there. I'm like, I'm glad it's not my truck.
That's it. Just
Yeah.
when I worked for the Forest Service last summer, $75 to fill the truck back then. I didn't care. I wasn't paying for it. It was on their card, I'd pull in and fill their truck up. Didn't bother me, $75, no big deal. But boy, oh boy, when you're standing there and you're going, is that shit? You're looking under your truck, making sure it ain't pouring out somewhere. It's at 65, 75, 85. What the hell? And at 96 clunk. You gotta be kidding me. Oh.
Yeah. Well, when I made that trip up there to get you from Duluth.
Yeah.
I stopped in and at the Quick Trip, and all that was open was the end pumps where you have to prepay. And
all of them are prepay now. Every pump they've got. Every pump they've got is prepay, or you pay at the pump with the card.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't read my card, so I had to go in.
Shit.
So they pre-enter and they're like, "And how much?" I'm like, "Geez, I don't know my truck well enough. I don't know how many gallons it holds." And
that's it.
It's like, what's the price? I'm like, I don't know. Say 100, and you guys just bill whatever it is when I'm done.
And that's what they do is it'll print off the receipt. You can get the receipt off the pump with the true amount that they credit back your card the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Rebecca,
ended up being like 50. Yeah.
Yeah. There's Gemma. Hi, Gemma. And there's Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. But yeah, I just won't buy my gas. I warned them too. I told the cashier there at Quick Trip that my last time there, I told them, I said, this is the last time I'm buying fuel here. And they said, why? What's wrong? And I said, what's wrong is I didn't want to use credit card today. I only need a quarter tank gas. And I got $100 bill. And I don't know how much that quarter tank's going to cost me. So I had to walk in here to prepay. So here's $100, and then I want the change back, after I'm done pumping. But what I don't like is I had to walk in here, walk out there, pump my gas, walk back in here to get my money back from you. I don't like that. You don't trust us to have pay inside. I can go down to the Holiday gas station and they always match your damn price. It's identical at the Holiday as it is here every day. And I can go to the Holiday and hit pay inside and pay the same amount for that gas. And I can say pay inside, and I can go in there and pay with a card or cash, whatever I want. I have one trip inside.
Yeah. Yep. And they try to use the argument that, we have people that will fuel and leave. It's like, well, Holiday does too, but they use their cameras and say, hey, PD, here's a picture of who ran up with that gas.
Exactly. And you look at Quick Trip, they got cameras all over the damn place.
Mm-hmm.
They even have cameras shooting the screen of the pump to prove the dollar amount in gallons that you pumped.
Yeah.
So I told them, I said, you're such a disappointment. I'm just not buying my fuel from you anymore. I'll come in here and buy donuts, and that's it. The hell with you. Everything else. You're the only ones that got the blueberry donuts I want. So I guess I still have to buy my donuts here. But I gotta come in. I gotta come in for those anyway.
Right.
But only one. I don't have to, it's not the kind of thing where I gotta go in there and say, I want these donuts, and you tell me, give me $100 bill, and then go out to your truck, come back in, and we'll give you your donuts and your change. What the hell?
I do like their coffee too. They have a pretty good selection of coffees and cappuccinos and whatever.
Yeah, I avoid buying coffee in any of them places. I end up spilling it usually. Hey there. Yeah. Eli's Mike walks in the door and he's saying hi to Bean. That's his priority. Bean. Then he says hello, chat. And the hell with me, of course, I love you, Mike.
We interrupted Bean cleaning his junk.
That's You had to point that out, didn't you? I've been ignoring the chat. Sorry, folks. Put the decimal point in the wrong place. Yeah, 40 cents instead of $4.
Yeah.
Ouch. Hey, Saltwater Born, good to see ya.
Yeah. Well, and it was a customer that come in saying, hey, this is wrong. Pointing it out to the guy. And there's a language barrier. He had to get the receipt, and he circled the receipt in the gallons and then handed it back to the owner saying, no, look. So that the owner kind of went green.
Oh no. And anybody they processed prior to the price change, as long as the pump's running and whatever the pump price is, they're stuck with it. And they can't come back and say, oh, well, no, that was wrong. We'll have to calculate what you actually owe us. No. You can change the price and the next customer will pay the regular price. But, you're shit out of luck.
Well, and there were people that was behind the guy that reported it that got mad.
Yeah, because how dare him screw it up for us,
Yeah.
We could have gotten it cheap too, Oh, yeah. Hey, Bradley, it's great to see you. Well, it's that time. It's time for the Sty Story. Running water. I'm going to pop you off to the side. We're going to get this out of the way. Boom. There he is. Okay. Time for a Sty Story. Tonight's Sty Story. Evil Ellen. This turns the clock way back when I was growing up. We had a woman in our community that I think she was born evil, man. She was the meanest, nastiest woman in the world. She had her husband, he had an artificial leg, right? Okay. And he was an alcoholic. He drank. But he was a friendly drunk. He was a very friendly drunk. And he spent, except for the winters, he spent all day out on the porch of their little house. They had this tiny little house. She had a daughter. Her name was Janice. Their last name was Powers. I correct that. It was Janice Powers. And she was in my grade in school. And I felt so bad for this girl. Her whole wardrobe consisted of about 3 to 4 outfits, and that was it. And her mother, this girl had her hair was coal black. I mean, just shiny coal black. Beautiful hair. Thick. Nice hair. Her mother would do a bowl cut on her. Now, mind you, in the 1960s, that was not in style, unless you were one of the Beatles, of course. That poor girl, and the girl's hygiene was questionable. You could tell that she probably only fully bathed once a month, if that. But her mother was that way. And her mother was trying to make her daughter into her. She gave her daughter this tiny little house they had, was a 1-bedroom house, mind you. And there's the 3 of them. Well, because it was a 1-bedroom house, where do we put that kid? Where do we put her? They put her in a closet. And the closet was just long enough that they could put a single mattress, a little tiny single mattress in there. And her whole wardrobe, all of her clothes, hung on the wall on hooks. And she wasn't allowed to have other personal belongings. And if she brought school books home from school, they had to go in that little closet with her. It was terrible. It was terrible conditions for that little girl. Well, we didn't have social services, child protective services or anything of that nature back in those days. Well, my pop was the local chief of police, and he was infuriated by the conditions that they were putting that girl through. And her mother, Ellen, now try to picture this woman. She always wore these baggy dresses. And she's one of those that she'd wear the, nylons that, they're supposed to come up over her knee, but she'd pull them halfway up her calf and then tie a big old knot in the side, And it was just obvious as hell because her skirts, her dresses only came down below her, just barely below her knees. So you see that big old knot in her stockings on each one. And she wore these big old beat up, ugly shoes. Her hair was cut just like she made her daughter's hair. But her hair was gray. She was kind of short and stocky. And on top of all of that, she wore the ugliest damn gray, almost like a plaid gray wool winter coat over the top of everything. Now, she wore that coat 365 days a year. It could be 20 below, and she's wearing that coat. It could be 90 degrees and 80% humidity, and old Ellen was wearing that damn coat. I asked my dad one time, I said, why does Ellen wear that big old heavy coat? That's absolutely ridiculous. It's so hot out. And she wears that damn coat. And my pop said, little do you know, inside that coat, she stitched these two big pockets inside that coat so she could shoplift at the local store. Well, it got to the point, and my dad let me know. He says, just pay attention when you're at the store and you see her there, how fast they chase her out of there. They don't want her in their store because she's stealing stuff. Hey, she's stealing groceries, she's stealing toiletries, she's stealing anything and everything. Those pockets were so big, she could take a 4-pack of toilet paper and slip it in one of them pockets. So, hence why she wore that big, heavy wool coat all the time. She was stealing stuff all the time. Well, she didn't need to steal. And they didn't need to live in those conditions. Her husband lost his leg through his job. Well, he was only 3 months away from retirement when he lost his leg. And they decided, we're going to, instead of disability, we're going to settle with him. We'll give him a big lump sum of money and let him have his full retirement. Guess who he worked for? The railroad. That boy's retirement was 3 times the income of your average person in our town. I mean, just as retirement. But they lived like paupers because of mean, nasty, evil Ellen. She didn't want to spend a dime of their money. She just wanted to steal everything. And she wouldn't give anything to her daughter. Wouldn't help Janice at all. A lot of people didn't like Janice. They didn't want to get near her. The other kids would say, oh, she smells, or look at her, she's ugly, and on and on. She wasn't ugly. She was just unkept, Well, us kids in our neighborhood, she lived right on the fringe of our neighborhood. We befriended her. And we'd invite her to hang out with us, do things with us and stuff. And we learned to just tolerate her condition because as a person, she was the sweetest kid you ever met. Well, her mother, Ellen, she'd come down our street. And our street only had houses on one side. The other side of the street, there was a railroad. And Ellen would come down that street. She walked all over town. She'd come walking down our street every single day, and always at about the same time, because her father lived just 3 houses away from our house. And he had a tiny little house, 1-bedroom place. And he was the nicest old guy I ever met. Jolly fella. He reminded me of Burl Ives. I mean, really, he did. He looked like Burl Ives, for crying out loud. Biggest heart in the world. I couldn't believe that she was his daughter. How in the heck can such a nice old guy have such a evil, mean daughter? Well, she didn't just dislike her own kid, Janice. We found out after I became an adult, I found out she wanted a boy. She didn't want a girl. And they only had the one child. So she was doing her damnedest to treat Janice as if she was a boy. And Janice wanted to be a girl. She wanted to be who she was. But her mother wouldn't allow her. Well, old Ellen would come walking down the street. And we're far enough into the stream that I can get away with a little bit of foul language. I want to warn everybody there's a little bit of foul language that goes with this story because I'm going to repeat some of the things Ellen used to say. Now, mind you, us kids, we were 8 to 10 years old in that age bracket. She'd come walking down that street and we'd be sitting like in my front yard or my buddy's front yard, 2 houses down from me, and she'd see us kids and she'd yell at us, just screech and yell at us, you little fuckers, you're all going to hell and I'm going to put you there. I mean, that's a threat, for God's sakes. And we just look at each other and go, she's nuts, man. She's nuts. We didn't say nothing. We didn't do nothing. Well, it got to the point where, Sty was a wild hare, even when my pop was still alive. At that time, my pop was still alive. He was chief of police of town. And I was a wild hare. I'll only take that crap for just so long. So I'd see her coming down the street. We'd be sitting out in the front yard on our hill by the street. She'd come walking by and I'd yell at her, hey, you old bitch, just to set her off, She'd pick up rocks the size of tennis balls and throw them at us kids. And we're just ducking and running. And that old crazy old woman's trying to kill us. Then we were getting brave with our bicycles. And we'd try to ride close to her and we'd call her names and stuff just to piss her off. And she'd try to grab us. And my dad told me, if she ever gets her hands on you, I don't know what she'll do to you. But just remind her, it's illegal for her to touch any one of you kids. So I'd warn her, I'd ride up close to her, but not close enough that I'd touch her or anything. Right up close to her and tell her, you nasty old woman, and she'd reach for me and I'd say, touch me and my old man will throw your ass in jail. Well, it got to the point where my pop, he had one of the best arrest records for the least amount of actual arrests. He dealt with things on a local basis. He didn't like booking people, putting them in jail, and blah. If he figured he could straighten them out without doing the whole jail thing, that's what he was going to do. Well, it got to the point with this woman where my pop, for about 2.5 years, was throwing her, locking her up, hauling her in and booking her and locking her ass up about once every 3 months. He was arresting old Ellen all the time. She was mean and nasty. She got a hold of my buddy one day. He was playing chicken with her on his bike, and she reached out and got a hold of his coat, yanked his butt right off of his bike, and he landed on his back on the blacktop, hit his head on the blacktop, and he bleeding all over the place. And she kicked him 3 times while he was down. She was evil. She was nasty. Well, we'd get all the kids in the neighborhood together. There was like a group of about 6 or 7 of us. And we always made sure Janice wasn't hanging out with us. If Janice was with us and her mother was walking by, we'd go to our backyards or something, get as far away from her as possible so that Janice didn't have to see these confrontations, right? And it was all for Janice's sake, not for her mother, And she went to jail for knocking my buddy off his bike, and she got charged with assault on that one. And the thing is all the years that I knew Ellen and had seen her almost on a daily basis, especially throughout the summers when we weren't in school. We saw her daily on her walk to her father's house. Well, she'd go to her father's house and she'd just berate that old guy and just yelling at him. You could hear him through the whole neighborhood, her yelling at him and stuff. You never heard him, but you heard her. And she was making him give her part of his retirement so that she had spending cash. Well, that was absolutely ridiculous when her husband's retirement that she had full access to was about 6 times what her father was getting in Social Security. Well, old Ellen, mean, nasty. All those years, I never saw that woman smile once. Never did I see her smile, ever. Well, we all were concerned about her daughter, Janice, and what she was going through. One day, I was just sitting out on our front steps, and here comes this car in the driveway, and it's a pretty fancy car. I think it was a big old LeBaron. It was a beautiful car. And I thought, who in the world's that? Coming into our driveway. Car stops, and out of the passenger side, this beautiful, beautiful woman gets out. She's just one of those people you just go, boy, she was just born naturally beautiful, And she walks over to me and she says, young man, she says, are you so-and-so? And I said, yeah. She says, your dad's the chief of police? I said, yeah. I said, you want to see my dad? She goes, no, I want to see you. And I said, well, what's it about? She goes, do you know Ellen Powers? I go, oh boy, do I know Ellen Powers. Yeah. She's the meanest. And I totally forgot myself. I said, she's the meanest old bitch in the world. That woman is evil. She got this smile on her face. And she goes, Ellen is my sister. I said, say what? I thought she was an only child. She goes, Ellen's my sister. Hank down the street is my dad and Ellen's dad. And she says, I just spent all morning with my father and got the whole scoop from him of what's been going on with Ellen. And she said, I have not seen Ellen or Janice yet today, but that's going to be my next stop. And she said, and I said, oh, you might want my dad with you. And she said, already arranged. Your father and 2 deputy sheriffs will be with me. And I go, really? What? Okay. She says, I just want to know, what do you think about Janice? And I told her, I said, well, Janice is a friend of ours. This woman was ecstatic. She says, hearing you say that she's your friend amazes me. And I said, why? She's a nice girl. She's nice. And she goes, but you know her condition. And I said, well, oh, yeah, at home it's terrible. But when she comes, hangs out with us, she's happy and she laughs, she plays. Yeah, she's a nice girl. And I go to school with her. She rides on the bus with me a lot of times. And I said, she's a nice girl. It's just too bad her mom is so mean. And I said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying bad things about your sister. She goes, oh, no, I think you're being very polite, young man. I was shocked that she thought I was being polite. I called her sister an old bitch, I'm being polite. And I said, so how often do you come to town to see them? She goes, this is the first time I've been here in town in 13 years. She says, I've never seen Janice, ever. This will be the first time I ever meet her. And she said, I don't know how Janice is going to take it, but today Janice is going home with me. She said, we have a court order that we are taking custody of Janice for her own well-being. We're taking custody of her. She says, that's my husband in the car, and we're taking her home with us. She said, we also have a perpetual standing restraining order that my sister is never allowed to come in contact with my father ever again the rest of his life. She said, we're putting an end to the nightmare. I was shocked. I said, so Janice is going to move with you. Will she still be going to our school? And she goes, that'd be a little hard to do, because she said, you'll never guess where our home is. And I said, I don't know. She goes, we live in Sydney, Australia. Oh my God. You came all the way from Sydney, Australia to here to get her. Holy God Almighty. It was all true. It was all true. By the end of the day, when my pop got home for dinner that night, he gave us the whole spiel, how bad it went, them going there, and they literally had to break in the house. They had to restrain Ellen. They had to put her in handcuffs. And they told Janice, you're going home with your aunt. She's actually got custody of you now. And they told her where she was going to be going. Janice never put up a fuss, never said, no, I don't want to go, nothing. She just said, I'll go with them. I'll go with them. And she did. It's my understanding that same evening they were on a plane heading back to Australia. I found out, now mind you, I was like 19 years old, 20 years old. I see in our newspaper a wedding announcement. And it's Janice Powers marrying this guy in Sydney, Australia. And it's got this whole bio about her and him. She was in college at the time, working for her PhD. She was marrying a surgeon, a doctor. This guy was huge in Australia. He was one of those names everybody knew. He was top of the line surgeon, and everybody knew him. He was generally famous. And they had a picture of Janice with him. I couldn't. If you knew her as a kid when we were growing up, and you saw that picture, you'd go, that's Janice's face with makeup and looking all prettied up. But the rest of her and her whole persona, that's not Janice. She was as classy as her aunt. I mean, she was beautiful. She was adorable. She looked like the kind of person you really wanted to know. You really wanted to be in her presence. And she had the biggest smile on her, bigger smile than I ever saw on that girl. Her aunt came and rescued her from evil Ellen. But you know what was really odd? The only thing that changed in Ellen was that she'd walk up and down that street just like she always did. But she had to walk past her father's place. She couldn't go there. She tried a couple of times. My dad arrested her both times. And we'd sit there and just listen to her as she walked by, because she talked to herself. I will kill that woman before I die. I hope the day comes that I see you again, sis, because I'm going to murder your ass. I will kill you. And the weird part was, come and take my boy away from me. Oh my gosh. Us kids, we're older now. My pop had finally passed away, and we're hearing her saying these things. And we're saying to each other, that woman is psychotic. She's nuts. And it got to the point where she couldn't control Janice anymore because Janice was gone. So she controlled her husband, and she'd steal his leg away from him and leave him out on the porch. Now, this guy couldn't hobble. He didn't have crutches or nothing. He'd be sitting in the chair on the porch, and we watched it happen several times. She'd come walking down the street up to the front of their house. He'd be sitting on the front porch, and he'd say, "What's for dinner?" She says, "You'll be damn lucky if you get any at all." And she'd jump on him. He's in that chair, jump on him, and she'd wrestle with him and steal his leg from him and beat him with it and say, "Just sit there and shut up." And this is no crap. Middle of the night, us kids are out running around. We're teenagers at this time. We're out running around. 2:00 in the morning. It's rainy. It's nasty out. That old boy's still sitting out there on the porch. Soiled himself, peed himself, crapped himself. He can't move. He can't get in the house. We come back the next morning. He's still out there. He's still out there. He's got his head dipped down. You can just tell he's totally defeated. And we go tell the local cops. Ellen beat the hell out of the old man with his leg again, stole his leg. He's been sitting out on the porch for almost 24 hours. We don't even know if she's been feeding him. And they go, and sure enough, an ambulance would have to show up, and they'd haul him off, put him in the hospital. He was a vet, so they put him in the VA. He'd be okay, and they'd send him home. The cops would confiscate the leg back, He'd come back home, and it'd be a week or two. Ellen would get charged with assault again, and she'd spend a couple weeks in jail. She'd get out. It wouldn't be days, and she's beating him with that leg again, stealing the leg and making him sit out on that porch. And that's the way it went for about 6 months. One day, the poor old boy just never left the porch. When they came, somebody had called in and said he's out there again for hours and hours. He was out there all night. They went to check on him and to see what's going on, and he had passed away from exposure. They tried to charge her with manslaughter, and for some reason it didn't fly. But those were the days when they still had state mental institutions. The county finally got her put in a state institution permanently. So that's where she spent her final days, is finally in a state institution. And I feel sorry for anybody else that was in that institution. But we had to live with her in our neighborhood all of my upbringing. I mean, about 16 years, 17 years of putting up with her, old evil Ellen. I never met anybody like that again in my whole life. And my heart was just broken for Janice until I saw how successful she became. And the last I heard of Janice, Oh, yeah, she had been married to the same guy for over 30 years, and they're both super successful. They've got 3 children, and they love their lives in Australia. So there was a silver lining to that nasty black cloud called Evil Ellen. So there's your Sty story for this week. There's bad in the world. There's bad in the world. But there's good too. There's good too. So at least there was a final happy outcome for Janice. Not for her pop, not for her mother, but for Janice, it turned out to be a happy outcome. And her aunt was thrilled to death. Her aunt couldn't have children, wasn't able to have children, but she got to raise her niece. And she did an awesome, awesome job of it. So there you are. There's your story for the week. Hope you enjoyed it. And we shall bring Rubber Water back up here. There he is.
Evil.
Oh, yeah, she was. She was. And her eyes were kind of buggy. They looked like the eyes on one of them big old goldfish, the big fat ones with the fantails, bug eyes. She had these bug eyes. She just did not look like she belonged to her dad or to her sister. She just, it's like, what the hell was that? I never did see a picture of her mother. So I kind of wonder, did it come from mom's side of the family? Because her father, that old guy, was such a nice old guy. I'd just be walking. We cut through his yard to get to friends' houses, and cut through his yard. And he'd come out the front door. He'd see us out his little picture window in his front room. And he'd come running out, that old guy. Hey, come here, Sty. Hey, you want a popsicle or a fudgesicle? He always had ice cream bars. Oh, yeah, he'd give you a treat every time you walked through his dang yard. He was so glad to see you. And he'd chat with you a little bit. And, yeah, he was a great guy. Great guy. I thank you, everybody out in the chat. I'm glad you enjoyed the story. I'm glad that it caught your interest. The Samantha Lee. Yeah, lots of big hugs. Kisses to Sam out there. She's a sweet girl. Native Kutsa. Oh, it's so good to see you, girl. Newfoundlander Ingalls family. Awesome. Great to see you folks. The Rain Dancer is talking about a girl from high school. Never heard about her until I saw her in the local paper. She was arrested for child abuse. She had starved her 4-year-old until death. Made me absolutely sick. See, there's something I didn't mention in the story is Janice was never sent to school with a lunch. And she never had lunch money to buy a lunch. But like I said, I was a conniving little bastard. So I always had ching in my pocket, man. I had cash. I always had a ball of cash in my pocket. I bought Janice her lunch every day for like 2 years in school. 2 full school years. I bought her lunch every day. And I did it wisely. I'd catch her in the hallway and I'd palm her the money. And I'd say, you eat lunch. She was paying for her lunch. I didn't stand there in line, have her go through with me, and I'll say, I'll pay for both of us. No, I didn't want her to have to cope with that, deal with that, that have people see that I'm being charitable to her. I didn't want her to have to feel that way. So I'd palm her the money on the sly, and I'd see her, she'd get her lunch. And so there were many times I go sit with her and have lunch with her because nobody sat with her. Nobody would sit with her. Nobody included her, and except for us in our neighborhood. And I was older than all the other kids in our neighborhood, and so was she. We were in the same grade. So the other kids, if they would have been in the same grade, they would have all been pitching in. They would have been making sure she was taken care of. But but that's the thing is sometimes when you find somebody like that, it's not their fault. It's a condition that somebody else is causing. So it's worth your effort and time to try to learn enough to find out what's causing that. And if you can help that person out some way, I don't know. I don't know for a fact, but something tells me that Janice, she remembers me, at least as that kid. Remember, she probably doesn't know what I am today or anything, but at that time, she remembers that. I'm sure she does. I mean, because I think we were all, our little group in our little neighborhood, we were the only high point in her life, The only positive thing she ever got to experience was when she hung out with us, Because we included her. She was just one of the gang, I think that's important. Try to leave a positive mark behind, It didn't really cost us anything, and it didn't hurt us in any way to be nice to her. And it's a lot easier to tolerate someone in that kind of condition. It's easy to tolerate that condition once you find out it's a really nice person covered in mud, It's, yeah. You can take the prettiest person in the world, dip them in the mud puddle, and they look just like everybody else that fell in that mud puddle, Looking her up is very, very difficult. I tried many years ago. It was quite a few years ago. I'd say 10, 12 years ago. I actually tried to locate her in Sydney, and now they had relocated from Sydney to Melbourne, I think. I don't remember exactly. We tried tracking her down, and it was almost impossible. And the reason it was almost impossible, we actually had someone in Australia. There was 3 of us from the old neighborhood trying to locate her. And what it came down to is her and her husband became such big names. They kind of went off the charts, off the grid. Yeah. Trying to find anything personal about either one of them is almost impossible. They got their tracks very well covered. And it's probably because they don't want that. They don't want their personal information available to anybody. They don't want people showing up at their door kind of thing, When you become important enough, you don't want people to know where your house is,
Well, and at that point you can also afford to disappear.
That's it. Between those two, I guarantee you they can afford to disappear. I would be amazed if they're not making right around $1 million a year. Their combined incomes is at least $1 million a year. They're big money now. And to think she went from those rags, I mean, literally went from rags to what she is today is just amazing. Just amazing. And I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. Transient in life, hard to keep track. Yeah, yeah. And and that's it. It's like Running Water said, they can afford to disappear.
Yeah. I stopped trying to look people up because I had that one friend that was uh, at that
Yeah,
program at Northland College,
right, right.
and
Yep.
all that, and just like trying to get a hold of him. Haven't heard from him in like 10 years. It's like, oh, and I'm back in Wisconsin. Like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Couldn't find him. Couldn't find him. Kendra, she hopped on it. She started doing the digging for me. Yeah, found him. He's dead.
Yeah.
He,
Yeah.
his girlfriend broke up with him, so he killed her dad and then went and lit himself on fire in some abandoned trailer house. I'm like,
Holy smokes.
it's like, no, this was like the most pacifist dude back when I knew him. And it's like, wow, that went way out. I'm not looking up any more people.
But I just sometimes I'm better off not knowing. Yeah. I had this I had two situations like that where I wish I didn't know.
Mhm.
There was this, I mean, he was my buddy. He was a buddy of mine. Ted Hefty. God dang, he was just a buddy of mine. He was the nicest guy you ever met. He's kind of chubby, but I mean, everybody liked Ted. Yeah, Ted's great. He's funny. And he's so personable and warm-hearted. But I hadn't seen him in like 5, 6 years. And I got a hold of one of our mutual buddies and that I hadn't talked to in a few years. And I said, hey, I just out of the blue got this inkling that I'd really like to hang out and talk with Ted just to find out what he's been up to, what's going on, how's life going. And he goes, oh, really? He got real kind of sober about it. I said, what? And he goes, well, he said, Ted ain't around. I said, oh, well, where is he? He says, well, he might be back around, but it's going to be at least 20 years. And they go, say what? He says, he's doing 25 to life in Florida for murder. I said, so what the hell? Not Ted. Ted wouldn't kill any. He wouldn't slap a mosquito. Ted is just too nice. Oh no. Oh no. He went bonkers and he ended up killing his girlfriend. Oh, what the heck? Ted? No, no. And there was this other fella, his name was Jeremy. And we were fellow 420ers, back in the day. And buddies. And I hadn't seen him for years, but I knew he had enlisted, right? He ended up going into the Navy. But what he was he was a jet airplane engineer. And basically what he did was he would troubleshoot jet airplanes, issues with jet airplanes on the carriers. And he'd troubleshoot the planes and tell the crews what they got to do to fix this and that and this and that on the plane. Poor bugger. He got sucked into a jet engine.
Oh.
It didn't kill him. And I hate to say it, but I almost wish it had. It messed that boy up so bad. He was just all messed up. I mean, when I met him, he was with his sister, and I knew his sister quite well. And I said, that can't be Jeremy. She goes, yeah, it is. She says, he doesn't look quite the same, does he? I said, well, enough that I was pretty sure it was him, but he can't talk, huh? And she goes, no, he just babbles. And he can't walk unless somebody's holding his arm to help balance him. If he's got that little bit of support, he can walk fine, but let go of him, she says, and he'll bounce off a wall. She said, he's not there. It's not him anymore. She said, he won't know you. And I said, you sure? We were such buddies. And she goes, why would he know you? He doesn't know me. I go, say what? And she says, I remind him daily I'm his sister. And it confuses him. So I just kind of give up on it because he doesn't know anybody. Doesn't know anybody. He doesn't even know who he is. So she said, yeah, it messed him up terribly bad. And it was like, what the hell? I was better off not knowing, thinking he's doing good. I heard he's a jet engine engineer and blah, blah, blah. He's big man in the Navy. No, he's back home all screwed up. Totally gone. Not even the person we once knew. It's a shame. It's a shame. But there you go, the twists in life.
Mm-hmm.
The twists. Some people have the worst. And then, I think about issues like what I'm dealing with. And their pain and suffering. Again, I always say there's something good in everything. No matter how bad it is, there's something good in it somewhere. Their pain and suffering is making my pain and suffering feel a little less. It helps. It helps because I just wouldn't want to be Ted Hefty. I wouldn't want to be Jeremy. I wouldn't want to be either one of them. Go through what they're going through. I still can't believe Ted killed his girlfriend. Holy God. I mean, he's the kind of guy where if you had an infant in the house, you'd call him to come and babysit because he was such a gentle. Well, all the girls in high school nicknamed him Teddy Bear, Teddy Bear. They called him Teddy Bear. Hey, Teddy Bear. Hey, Teddy. Because that's what he was like a sweet, kind of chunky, fluffy teddy bear, He'd come with us partying and stuff. He'd have one beer the whole night. He'd have one beer. And it was just, it tastes good, but he says, I just don't like getting drunk, He said, I have a good time without getting drunk. And he did. He always did. And yeah. Rain dancer. I love running into people from my earlier past. Yeah. I had an old girlfriend that there's a big long story with that too. But we hadn't seen each other in 40 years. And I managed to get a hold of her. That was tricky. But I found her, right? And I got a hold of her. And we agreed to meet up when I was down in the Twin Cities out in Minneapolis. We agreed to meet up. We met up at a cafe. Oh my gosh. That's the last time I'll see her. Only because I don't want to be brought down and depressed. She was a beauty, man. When I was dating her, she was a charm. She's a beauty. And She was a champion barrel racer. She loved to do the rodeo thing. She raised beautiful horses. And her and I were, boy, we were close to hitching up. And it broke off. And I always thought, oh, that's a shame, man. Boy, I could have called her a trophy wife, you know.
Yeah, the one that got away.
The one that got away. Yeah. Well, thank God that thing got off my hook. I mean, she did not age well. She did not age well. She's really rough. She had a drug problem. She was an addict for about 6 years. She's off the drugs totally. She's been off the drugs for about 15 years, you know. So that's a thing of her past, but those drugs had their way with her. I mean, they really messed her up. And she had gotten married, had 3 kids, got divorced. Her husband was abusive, nasty, mean guy. And her kids are just like Papa, mean, nasty. They would steal from her. She had a horse boarding and raising little farm going, and it was very successful. She's doing quite well. Her children sold her 3 prime studs, and those 3 horses alone were making her about $60,000 a year. They stole the horses and sold them. And it was bizarre. Those horses ended up crossing international border. They went into Canada. And they tried, couldn't get them back. Hey, NBA is here. Roland, my brother, there you are. The beard is looking epic. Isn't that? Yeah, it's looking good, but guess what? With my chemotherapy and radiation therapy that starts tomorrow, it's going to thin out. They said they don't believe I'll totally lose it, but it's going to they said it's going to thin out quite a bit from the treatments. They said, but the potential is there that I could end up losing it. And they said, 2 months from now, I might look like I have the mange. That's got me feeling pretty sad. I'm going to let it go. Whatever happens, it happens. I'm going to let the world see this is what happens when you go through this cancer crap. But there is I always say there's a silver lining to every cloud. They said after your treatment ends 5 weeks from now, it'll take about 6 months, and they said you'll be back where you're at. They said it'll take about 6 months for it to grow back in. So it will come back. They said the nice thing about these treatments is the hair on my head, I'll lose right away. Well, guess what? I buzzed my head. I said, don't you have to have hair on your head to lose it? You know? And they said, the follicles of your facial hair are a little bit different than what's on your head. They're deeper, they're stronger, the hair is coarser. And they said, typically, people that are bearded like that don't lose their beards. And they said, so we just got a gut feeling. You're still going to have plenty of beard to get you through till it grows back full again. I said, oh, thank goodness. Yeah, NBA, so do I. I hope it stays just the way it is. I've lived with it for so long. Yeah. They have cold caps. Oh, at the top. Not yeah. Our cancer center's got these baskets in the waiting room with all kinds of free. I mean, they've got do-rags, they've got scarves, they got hats, they got stocking caps, all, and it's all free. It's all brand new stuff. It's all free. Help yourself. And they even have the wig room. I told my doctor, I said, doggone it, it's a shame I'm not a woman. I can go in that wig room and get myself a wig, nice wig. And he goes, oh, we got men's wigs in there. I said, say what?
Get yourself a nice big afro.
Yeah,
Go
he
with your
says,
beard.
if you want to have something you haven't had for a long time because you shave your head, go on in there. They'll find you a top knot. And I go, I'm not buying no fake hair. He goes, oh, no, you don't pay a cent. You don't pay a cent. And he said, and they're not, he said, you call it fake hair, but he says, I tell you what, they're high quality. You go check some of them out. You put one of them buggers on and nobody knows you're wearing a wig. He says, it's good stuff. He says, get me a wig, Sty. Rain Dancer says they gifted her a wig. Yeah. You know, they can be so good. I feel privileged with our cancer center. It's they built this cancer center. They started the construction on it 8 years ago, and it was finally finished 6 years ago and opened its doors. And their success rate is amazing for as small of a town we're in. Only 10,000 people here, and that place is packed, busy constantly. They've got 14 infusion rooms, and when you get there, between 8 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, every infusion room's got somebody in it. There's people traveling from all over to come there. But they treat you like you're royalty when you walk in the door, man. Anything they can do to make you comfortable, put a smile on your face. Yeah, it's amazing. The staff are all the best people in the world. They're making a bad experience tolerable. Actually, the gals in the infusion department and the radiation department, they're the only reason I really want to go back, you know. Otherwise, I wish I could stay clear of that joint. But the gals are so nice. And I've gotten to know 6 of them by their first names just on site, man. We know each other and we're yelling at each other across the center and stuff. And it's, yeah. Yeah, you have suites. Yeah. Yeah, our infusion rooms are huge. They're big. You're in there all by yourself. You're in this big, comfortable, reclining kind of chair, you know. They get you all hooked up. You can recline that bugger back. And it's got heated. It's heated. You push the old button and set the temp you want the chair to be. And it's got a vibrator in it, man. And then if you want, you can crank it up just like one of them beds in a motel, cheap motel, you know. And of course, you got the flat screen TV with the remote and 152 channels to pick from. About 6 to a suite. Wow, no. Ours are all individual rooms. Yeah. Be getting hot baths. Yeah. Does a massage come with that? Yeah. Oh, Rain Dancer. I don't know why people like me. I don't like myself that much, for crying out loud. I get there, my very first visit to the cancer center, talking with my nurse. She's getting my IV all set up and everything, getting my infusion started. We chatted for a good half hour or so. Find out she's the niece of my tattoo artist. Something in common. Boy, we were just rattling on. Next thing I know, she leaves the room. Next thing I know, she's coming in with 2 other gals, right? And they come over and they're going, okay, come on, come on. And they're pulling my shirt up. And I go, what are you doing? They said, we need to get your shirt off. We'll just pull it up over your head and down your right arm. We can't get it off the IV, of course, but we'll just get it on your right arm. So they pulled my t-shirt up and over my right arm. So I'm sitting there without a shirt. They said, now lean forward. And I lean forward. And they're going, oh, that's amazing. Look at that piece on his back. They're looking at my tattoos. I thought it was a medical thing. No, they came in there for a free tour of my tattoos. But you know how this one gal introduced herself when she walked in? She says, your nurse Gina. She says, hi, I'm Jenny. She says, your nurse Gina told me I have to get in here and meet one of the nicest men in the world. And I'm going, she don't know me. How dare her go spreading these rumors about somebody she don't even know? Well, I don't know. All the staff there, they like me. My two doctors, they're very professional, but with me, it's the one. He's got a good, much shorter, really tight, healthy beard, man. He comes in and he points right at me. He goes, that is a nice beard. And he starts playing with his, he goes, someday, I can't in the current career. He says, I got to be able to cover the whole thing with a mask. He said, but someday, he said. And all of a sudden, he realized he's being a little too casual, And all of a sudden, he's trying to be real prim, proper, and professional. And we get to chatting. It didn't last long. I told him, I said, if you and I are going to get along, I told the other doctor the same thing. I said, if we're going to get along, you'll never keep anything from me. I said, I count on you to never lie to me. But just as bad as lying to me is keeping something from me. I said, don't wait for me to ask. Just say it. Just say it. Say, boy, this is going to hurt, man. What they're going to do to you, that's going to hurt. Be honest about it. Just be flat out. Don't leave me guessing on anything. Well, it worked. I got my chart online, and oh my God, their exit summaries. Whenever I meet with them, their exit summaries are 26 pages long. They're telling me every freaking thing. Everything. Now I wondered if should I have gone that way and told them I want to know everything, because they're telling me everything. Hey, Rain Dancer, you got a port. They were going to give me a port, but because of my outdoor activities, and I put myself at times in high risk situations for damage to the port. It was their, I told them I want your advice. I want to know, what's the best route. Well, they checked my veins. I love it. AccuVein machine, man, is sweet, man. They pass that thing over your arms. You can see every damn vein in your arms. They give me the rundown. About 45 minutes, they inspected both my arms. And they said, no, we'll just do a fresh IV each visit. And they said, because I'm not going to need the chemo pump, my treatments will be by in-house infusion. I don't have to wear a pump like my ex-wife wears a pump. She's got a port and she wears a chemo pump. I don't need the pump. So they said, you got such good veins, we're going to skip the port. Yeah, you don't need a port. I was just like, yeah, cool. One less procedure. Yeah, for far better to know than to not know. I think you'd agree with me, Roland. Is it the worst fear you can have is the fear of the unknown? You know, not knowing something will make you a lot more nervous than just flat out knowing it, good, bad, or indifferent. I'd rather know it than not know it. Hey, Matt J, it's great to see ya. Yeah, I like all the campfires he popped up there. the that's the hardest. The surgery's got me. I ain't too thrilled about it. I went through the open heart surgery thing, and that was not pleasant. That was not. And I'm the kind of guy I don't like being down. I don't like being down and out. You got to stay put. You got to take it easy. I don't like that shit. I'm sorry. I'm just not one that. It's hard to get me to comply when you tell me you can't. Well, that's a bad thing to say around me. You can't. I'm going to at least try. No, you can't try either. Well, look at that over there while I go do this. You know. Well, so far at this point, the probability is my surgery is going to make my open heart surgery look like a walk in the park. They're opening up both rib cages, spreading the ribs on both sides, and making an incision from my sternum to my navel. And they're going to have two surgeons and a surgical assistant working on me at the same time. They said we got to make this surgery clean and as quick as possible, but we got to be dead on correct on everything. And they believe they can get all of the cancer. One visit in there, get it all. They said the hardest part is we're going to be removing about a fourth up to 30% of your top of your stomach and about 2 inches of your esophagus. Then we have to reattach all of that. And they said, now imagine we're taking the top third, in the worst case, top third of your stomach, and we got to pinch all that together to the diameter of your esophagus and stitch that all back together. And it's got to be perfect. You can't have any leaks. You can't have any hemorrhaging or anything. And they said the hard part is the recovery. You're going to have the pain on both sides of your chest and in the front of yourself. And then you're going to have the fact you're going to have a feeding tube coming out of your abdomen, and you're going to have to feed yourself through a feeding tube for 6 to 8 weeks because we don't want anything going past that surgical area for a minimum of 6 weeks. We want it totally healed before anything goes past it, other than little sips of clear water to keep the mouth and the esophagus moist. That's a bitch. I mean, that's a bitch. Especially when I went 10 months not being able to swallow. Now I will have been able to eat for a month. And now I get another month and a half of being sick half the week and only getting to eat good a couple days a week. Because they're prepping me for when I won't get to eat for 2 months, where nothing goes in the damn mouth, where I can't eat or taste nothing. I told them the least you could do is have like flavored popsicle sticks, turkey, prime rib, spaghetti and meatballs, and I just suck on that stick. They said, no, our luck is you chew that stick and swallow a splinter and ruin everything we fixed. But like I said, I'm going to tough through it, son of a bitch. I'm going to tough through this crap, guys. With your help, knowing you guys are out there, man, goes a long ways. Keeps this old boy alive and kicking. because they're talking surgery the last week of June or the second week of July, and then 2 months recovery. So we're looking at the end of September, possible, at the latest. Well, I'll be recovered for the fall. I'll get to go out, see the fall colors, and go do some fall camping, I hope.
No, I was now for that recovery time. Then you're basically on, light duty. You're not allowed to pick anything up, do any of that.
But they did say that after 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I asked them specifically, and they said, yes, you may, as long as it's not real bumpy. I can run the riding lawnmower.
Okay.
Because they're going to give me these ACE bandages that are about 8 inches across, and they're about 6 feet long. And I can bandage my feeding tube along my side so it's fully protected. And I can get on that lawnmower and I can drive that riding lawnmower on. I can mow. I won't be able to make our yard big like it's supposed to be, but next spring, I'm going to go like a banshee on this yard, man. I'm going to go ape shit on it.
Well, see what I was wondering, will you be able to sit around the fire pit if I have stuff pre-chopped and ready to go, close proximity? You don't have to carry anything.
Oh yeah, one little stick of wood at a time, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'll be able to handle that shit. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, we'll get you set up then because I'm coming home on the 19th. You can get that set up and get a little area set up and get some firewood all chopped and covered and ready to go.
Those cinder blocks that are back there, we just have to clean up a little bit around those, and we can get the fire pit set up right there. So there is a spot that wouldn't take much at all.
Right.
And yeah, shit, I can drag a camp chair over there, set it up, and have myself a campfire, So you're coming home on the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was.
Yeah, and then I go back out on the 26th.
26th, day after.
Or
2 days.
After
2 days after your birthday, your actual birthday.
Right.
Not your nephew's birthday, yours. Oh, Native Kutsa says, next summer I'm coming out there. Better take me camping. You bet I will, sweetheart. You bet I will. That is a deal. Yes, absolutely. Did I say hi to Raven? Hi, Raven. Oh, you bet. You betcha, sweetheart. We'll go camping. We'll go camping. That was one thing I asked him too. I asked him. I said, what about my weight? I was happiest when I was between 185 and 210. They said, don't get your hopes up to get beyond 185. They said, because we're going to be reducing the size of your stomach, for one thing. They said, you're going to have to eat very high protein and fat diet to even come close to gaining weight. And they said, which we have no problem with. And they said, eventually your stomach will stretch again. But they said that takes quite a while. And they said, your new norm will probably be between 175 and 185. They said, it's very, very iffy if you'll ever cap that 200 mark again. I said, well, what about muscle mass? I said, I lost everything. I mean, look at me, guys. I mean, there's nothing left of me. I got nothing left of me. And they said, yeah, they said, you can get that back. You can get that back. You'll build the muscle mass, but you'll be converting the fats and proteins into muscle. And they said, but your weight won't dramatically change, Okay, I'm good with that. As long as I got the strength, stamina, and endurance, I'm good with it. Hey, Shadow Scout Swedes in the house. Good to see you, Yoren. Running Water, can you keep my audience fairly entertained for just a moment? I got to run in the other room. It'll take me just a moment.
I can try.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Good morning, Shadow Scout. Yeah, it's late here. I'm out Ohio, Pennsylvania, top corner. Just kind of hiding from the rain. Yeah, I'm trying to get the chat to come up here. I got a tablet and a phone going at the same time. Yeah, it'll be about 3:45, 4 o'clock a.m. here when I get up and start working tomorrow. So it's almost 10 o'clock here, but I'm on the back end of a 14-hour day. Wild truck stop stories. Well, not today. Thursday we had one. It was actually kind of interesting. A bunch of us were talking on the CB, laughing at it. We had cops out in the truck stop. This was down by Charlotte, North Carolina, and had the cops out there running around the parking lot trying to catch this. It's a lot lizard, which is truck stop prostitute, in drag, wearing high heels. But she was about 6'4" and outrunning those cops in high heels. They couldn't keep up with her, running to the truck stop. And we're just sitting here placing bets over the radio on whether they're going to actually catch her or not. Welcome back.
Thank you. I had to get myself a half a cup of coffee. We might run a few minutes over. I think the way it is, I'm probably in the best case would get 6 hours of sleep anyway. And oddly enough, when I'm getting my infusions, my last time there, I slept for a half an hour. They come in, they woke me up and said, I just want to check on you. Is everything okay? I said, was I sleeping? And they said, yeah, you were sleeping pretty good. And I said, things must be okay if I'm sleeping. Yeah, they don't care. Yeah, if you want to sleep, go ahead.
I was going to ask, do they have Wi-Fi there for you?
They don't have Wi-Fi, but my phone, I get Wi-Fi on my, I get internet access on my phone. And in fact, my last time there, I had the Mayo Clinic, the surgeon's office, call me and they needed all of these approvals for this and that. And this is trying to set up they're doing the triage before the pre-op stuff in July or June. And they did it while I'm getting my infusion. I got the phone and it was nice because I had all these nurses there and they'd ask me questions. How the hell would I know? That you should be asking the doctor or one of these nurses. So I'd ask the nurse, "Hey, can you listen to this?" Because I had it on speakerphone, and so those nurses were helping me answer all these questions and shit. It worked pretty good. Hey, Adam, welcome. Yeah, I'm doing my best to look after myself. I got other folks that are helping look after me. Hey, love you too, girl. Native Kutsa. Next year we'll get together. I got a bunch of waterfalls to take you to. Yeah, we'd have a blast. We'd have a blast.
Yeah, I was just wondering if if they had Wi-Fi or if you can find out if they have Wi-Fi down where you're going to be doing your recovery for the couple of weeks, for surgery and stuff.
But that's a possibility.
Maybe we can find out because I'll send I got the big jumbo tablet, and I've got everything on there, so you can stream all your stuff and watch whatever,
Yeah.
put on the headset. And
one thing I did think about, and it all depends on after we go through the triage and they make their final decisions on the surgery, how it's going to play out. That's going to determine things. But I'm going to try to find out, can I take the game system with me? Because I can set that up on my bed table while I'm recovering in the hospital and play PlayStation. Yeah. Hey, Yoran. Oh, that's too kind, brother. You don't need to do that, my friend. You really don't. You don't. I was doing that today. I had a little budget set aside to help out a couple of channels, and I went over and helped out a couple of channels, and it felt really good. I know how you feel doing that for me. You're a champ. You're wonderful, my friend.
Yeah, we'll have to take and do a comparison between this unit I've got and that one you've got, which everyone has a smaller footprint.
Yeah.
Less for them to complain about. Yeah.
Getting in the way, that was sweet of the sweet one. I mean, he's a great man. He's a great man. Yeah. Justin says, "Look out when I get my super chat fixed." You don't have to be doing that, you guys. I ain't no rich man, but all my needs are being met. And I get to have a little. I can gift myself once in a while, and I did today. Well, after this stream tonight, I'll do it. Just hit the send it to me button. Got myself a new headset for my PS4. Couldn't pass it up. Regular price of it was $40, and I'm getting it for $14. So had to grab it. I'm doing a lot like running water. You just watch those and you go, I'll put that in my list and wait for a better price. And then, boy, when it pops up, that's sweet. Yeah, grab it. Yeah. Okay, Native Kutsa, sweetheart. You take good care. You take good care of yourself. The Yeah, Chuck. Yeah, you take care too, my good friend. Love you, buddy. You have a good night. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. The Yeah, I got for my late dinner. I got an hour I'll get to eat. I'm having chicken cranberry pecan salad sandwiches. Well, they're not really sandwiches, they're wraps, you know, wrapped in a tortilla. A couple of those. Each one of them is about 250 calories. So that'd be 500 calories, eat two of them buggers. Then I'll probably have 2 to 4 yogurts after the fact. And they're 150 calories apiece. So if I have 4 of them, that's another 600 calories. So I'll have 1,100 calories just in what I eat right after the stream within 45 minutes. And I've already had 1,200 calories today. So that's what I'm looking for, man. I want to cap that 2,000 calorie mark every day, no matter what. But I won't be able to do that now. Starting tomorrow, there'll be, like they said, 2 to 3 days where my appetite just won't be the best. Now, I had people in the chat last week saying it, and I've had people in conversation saying it, that, oh, you be prepared, you're going to be throwing up all the time and this and that. I talked to my doctors and my nurses, and they said, no, you're not going to be throwing up all the time. Every time you eat something, you're not going to throw up. They said that's not the way it is. They said you'll feel nauseous. You'll feel like you want to throw up. They said you'll feel sick to your stomach. But you'll learn when you feel it coming on, we've got a med for you that kicks butt. You pop that the second you feel like you're nauseous at all, that's coming on. Pop that and you won't be. They said you'll eat like regular. They said we can control that nausea if you cooperate and you manage it. They said another effect you have is one of two things. You're either going to be constipated or you're going to have diarrhea. They said, we guarantee it. You're going to have one or the other. But they said it's not going to be a problem. Well, I took care of the constipated side. I got what I needed. All I got to do is take a dose a day, and that problem goes away if it occurs. On the diarrhea side, well, yeah. Imodium AD, no problem. It's gone. They said, yeah, you can manage it very simply. But people go, oh, I've had diarrhea for 4 days. Well, why'd you wait 4 days to do something about it? The minute you have diarrhea, we've got something for that. They said, all of the horror stories you're going to hear are really self-inflicted. Yeah. Because people
didn't manage it well.
Just didn't manage it well. And they said the one thing that I can't avoid is I'll feel weak. I'll feel that I don't have energy, that I feel weak. They said you won't feel sleepy. You just feel weak. And I said, I got the perfect weak spot. That recliner on that couch is the perfect place to feel weak. So, and everything is within what? I think the maximum distance I can walk either direction of my chair is 15 feet, 20 at the absolute most. So I'll do fine.
Yeah,
I
it's
just,
about 20 feet if you go out to get mail.
yeah, to
But
go get the mail, maybe 20 feet from the chair out there.
but
Or to
otherwise,
go into the back porch might be
back
20
porch.
feet. The and the nice thing is the garbage bins are right outside the back door. Just go drop the bag in there and get back and go, oh, that was a day's worth of work. You know, I'm good with it. Yeah. Life will go on. Um, it's just going to be an experience I didn't want to have to go through, but I I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. So I'm going to make the best of it, make the best of it, and get through this damn thing one way or the other.
Well, that's
Uh,
just it. Go through it and come out the other side.
that's it. That's it. And that's the thing is there's always the very worst case. Something terrible could happen in the surgical process. There's a lot of risk involved in that surgery. Something terrible could happen. Um, maybe they don't get all the cancer, and I got to do something in the future or whatever. But the most likely outcome is why I'm going for it. I'm one. Running water knows. I was one. I said, no way in hell. I'll never do chemo. It ain't happening. Ain't happening. No chemo or radiation for this boy. It ain't happening. Changed my mind, didn't I?
Mhm.
Changed my mind. When they gave me the prognosis they did, and that they feel that I've got up to an 80% chance of it being totally curable, totally gone. Well, how can I say no? I had a couple people say, well, you said no because you don't want the sickness of the treatment, you know. I said, I know. I didn't. But now the treatments, as ill as they'll make me, is worth the investment for how good I'll feel for years after. It's worth the investment. Where if they would have said that it had traveled and I got cancer throughout my body, I would have said no.
Yeah. Or it would have been a type deal where they said, yeah, we're going to do this treatment and it's going to give you an extra 4 to 6 months.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The investment wouldn't be worth it. In other words, I got to invest 6 months to get 6 months. It ain't. It wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be worth it. Hey, great to see you, fish hunt trap. That's cool. Fish hunt trap repeat. Do her again. You betcha. I like it. Yeah, it's great to see you. Welcome to the Sty Shack. The Oh wow, Boxy sent these folks over. Hey, set on sign. Awesome. That's cool. That is so cool. Boy, when I saw fish hunt trap, the first thing I went through my mind is, damn, I want to go fishing. But it looks like Cheesehead Chris and I might get to do a little fish, late season fishing this year. I got my fishing license and everything. I just won't be able to be out there fishing. But he's willing to get me out fishing after my recovery, after my surgery. He'll get me out for a little fishing this late season fishing. Um, yeah, yeah, Matt J. Boxy rules. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's Boxy Outdoors. Hey, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Yeah, I'm having a good night. These live streams really help me. They really help me a lot. They
It's the remedy for what ails you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Someone said, well, it's just a Band-Aid. And I said, yeah, but it's a nice big one. Hanging out with my YouTube friends and family. Yeah, it's a nice big Band-Aid that helps get me through this whole business. I have to say, I've had a very good day. Very good day. That's it. Yeah. Hey, man, Jay, just bring a few great folks to hang with great folks. Yeah. Hey, there's Off the Hook Outdoors. Great to see you. Another one from Boxy. Whoa, there's Matt Jay. Yeah, Matt J says, self-reminder, never rub your eyes after eating spicy chips and food. Yeah, you would think that if you do it once, you'd never do it again, man. That it's misery. But sure enough, it'll happen again. I've done it. Eating super hots with Phil, and yeah. That's something this old boy ain't never doing again. I'm not going down the super hot trail anymore. I did it. I ate the world's hottest chocolate. I ate Reapers. I ate Scorpions. And blah, 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 blah. Ate that triple X Reaper Thai, chicken Thai. That was some hot shit, boy. Whew. Whew. Ate that in camp, by golly. I loved the flavor, but the burn was, God almighty. That burn was so bad that my cast iron Dutch oven, I scrubbed that thing 3-4 times. You never use soap in a cast iron, right? But I scrubbed that sucker, got it super hot, wiped it out good, scrubbed it again while it was hot. I want everything out of the pores, right? Because I cooked that triple X Reaper Thai in it. The next day, I put a Cornish game hen in there, lightly seasoned it, and baked that Cornish game hen in that Dutch oven. Set it all up, sitting at my table there in camp, and I took the first piece, stuck it in my mouth, and I'm going, holy God, oh, is that spicy? Them damn spices were still in that cast iron. It took 3 times using that cast iron for cooking foods to finally get rid of the burn out of it. It was nuts. Yeah. Matt says I never learned my lesson. Yeah. I'm a mistake repeater myself. Yeah.
Well, see, I got a bad habit of the whole mustache thing, like you.
Yep.
You
get that residue.
After putting like icy hot on my calves, long day in the truck, and then
Yeah, ain't that wonderful?
Had to go in and shampoo my face
just to get it out of there. Yeah, no kidding. There's been a couple of times in my life when I've said, you'll have to excuse me, I got to go wash my mustache and beard. What? I got the wrong thing in it. I'm out of here. Got to get rid of it. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to enjoy having a bite to eat before 10 o'clock and then get my feet up, call it a night. I'm all set up for in the morning. I got to shake it out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I figure I got everything in order enough that I should be pretty much so ready for the road within 45 minutes. Then I could just sit back and relax. They told me that after 10 o'clock tonight, no food, nothing but water, clear water. And they said, help, drink all the water you want. And they said, the more the merrier. And they said, tomorrow morning, if I want, before my appointment, I can fix myself a cup of coffee, but don't put anything in it. They said, it's just got to be straight black coffee. And they said, you can have 1 cup before your appointment. So I'm all set up to have myself a cup of coffee in the morning. I had made a pot. That's why I only got half a cup when I ran and got this, is because I had made a pot this afternoon and I poured it in one of our big thermoses. And it didn't fill the thermos, so I've been drinking what's left in the pot, and there was only half a cup left in there when I went in there to get it. But I've got that thermos sitting there, and that'll be one of these cups of coffee in the morning. So, and that ain't got nothing in it, no sweetener, no creamer, none of that shit. So I'll have my cup of coffee on my way to the clinic. You have a very good night yourself off the hook outdoors. It's great to have you here. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much for stopping in. They need to know how much I love the old outdoor channels, man. Just love them. Just love those outdoor channels. The weird stuff, every once in a while I'll get notifications, and then I go to it and there's nothing there. Oh yeah, it appears Samantha got herself a new tattoo. It says "Love Dad" around her wrist. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So guys, I hate to do it. We got 16 folks hanging out in the Sty Shack right now. I hate to do it, but for those of you that aren't aware, I have a 7.5-hour doctor's appointment tomorrow. Actually, it's 4 doctor's appointments over a 7.5-hour period. 2 of those, one appointment's 2.5 hours long, the other one's 1.5 hours long, and that's infusion. They give me an IV, and they got to infuse me with chemotherapy and iron. So it's a very long medical day tomorrow, and I have to shake it out of the rack by 5 o'clock because I got to be there by 7:15, and I got the whole day. I got to deal with them. And I'm only allowed to eat up till 10 o'clock tonight. And right now it's 9:15. So I'm going to have myself 45 minutes to try to chow down, Thanks, Fish Hunt Tribe Repeat. Yeah. It'll go okay. It'll go okay. I'm sure of it. I'll get through it with no problem. It's the after thing that's kind of goofy, because if they drug me up, they give you a bunch of Benadryl if you have any kind of allergic reactions, and then they won't let you drive out of there. You're supposed to have a ride with you. So, but I don't have one, so I might have to finagle my way around getting out of there tomorrow afternoon, but I'll deal with it when it comes. We'll see what happens. They said that's very possible I won't need a ride. I can just drive myself home. I'm only about 5 minutes from home. So it's not like I'm going to be a big risk out on a highway somewhere, It's just, in fact, there's only 2 stop signs that I have to stop at on all the way home. So it's just boom, boom, and I'm home. Boom. So it'll work out. It'll go good. And guys, plans have not changed. Thursday night around the campfire at 7 p.m. I'm planning on it. Even if I'm sickly feeling, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And if I can only stream for an hour, that's the way it'll be. But I'm going to come on Thursday night, let you know how the week went. You know, how did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday go? Because I got an appointment every day. I get radiation every single day, but the chemo on Monday should have wore off by Thursday. So we're gonna go live Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Otherwise, next Sunday at 7 p.m. Sty Story Sunday, we'll have another story for you. I love y'all. I want y'all to take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. Yeah. And God bless every one of you. Yeah, I mean, you're worth it. You're worth it, whether you know it or not. Running Water, my son, you're the best, man. You're the best. Yeah. Go pick up my man. Thanks, set on sign. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I will. I'll go pick up. That's exactly what I'll do. You all have a very good night. Oh, how do you get your beard so big? Do you use Miracle Grow? If so, I'm trying it. No, that's my natural length. That's maxed out. This beard now I've had at this, full growth. It takes about 18 months to get it to this stage. And I've had this one for, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years. And I didn't use any beard balm today, so she's a little poofy. But yeah, I try to taking good care of it is the key. You go to Mountain Bushcrafters Alliance MBA, go to his channel and look at his playlist. And he's got a playlist, I think it's called Beard Care 101. Watch his videos on it. That guy has won some beard growing championships, and now that man's got a healthy beard. And I've taken much of his advice, and that really does help keep the beard healthy, So good luck to you. Good luck to you there, Fish Hunt, Drive, Repeat. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm out of here, and I'm going to do as I usually do. I'm going to grab that. Oh, no, I didn't show my members tonight. We're going to close with my membership. Show you all my nice members, all my wonderful members. And I'll see you hopefully Thursday. Okay? We'll see you.
Night, y'all.
I was waiting for you to say good night, y'all. Good night, folks.